Hi everyone, Ajax Feyenoord, the game, Sahbi. This was the important game for us. 2-3, we lost it at the end. It hurts, honestly. For me, it hurts a lot.
Oh,
I
a
guess
lot.
for you as well. Um, a lot have happened this game, a lot. Like momentum changes, a lot changed also compared to the second half. If you look at the first half, I mean, that was a totally different game. In general,
Completely.
your feelings right now, and if you have time to analyze what you saw and why did we lose?
Uh, yeah, difficult to say at this moment. For me, this is a real. It is a bitter pill to swallow at this moment. Huge disappointment, a bit of angerness, um, mixed feelings. First half doing well. First 10 minutes were awful. We lack concentration like every game almost. Um, yeah, Feyenoord did well. How the way they pressed us, we knew they would press us in that way. So I was a bit surprised that we got pressed, but then we played
Wait,
a good
were
game
you surprised we got pressed? Why were you surprised? Because that's the way
because
Feyenoord plays. That's the way Feyenoord plays.
indeed, because if you know that they play like this, you
Mhm.
should already know. You should already expect that they play like this. So there should be certain solutions or the way you should play, and that could. You mean that in that way we could challenge them in the way they played, and after 10 minutes it worked out. I mean, we played way better. I mean, the last 30 minutes I think were great. But yeah, let's first start with their goal because that was an awful transition goal again. Bergwijn going into really crowded places, literally in midfield, losing the ball. Kudus letting his man go, basically. And Bessie, what was he doing? What was he doing? It was really terrible. Bessie, in general, awful game, terrible game. And yeah, I was so flabbergasted. Like, how that they try to force us into making errors and
In the build-up,
still
in the build-up
in the
especially.
build-up, yeah, and
Yeah.
still, and it's yeah, very difficult to say. But then again, after 10 minutes, we tried to play our game, and then we got a bit of the solutions that I was talking about earlier. High crosses behind their backline because there's so much space behind their backline due to their pressing um, uh, uh, in a high line. We got dangerous from that perspective. You saw Bergwijn having, I mean, that goal. Bergwijn walking deep, and then Tadic cutting in and scoring that goal. That was exactly the type of play that suited us against this Feyenoord.
Yeah.
And we did well in first half, but then again, second half,
What is it, Sahbi? What is it? Because you mentioned this before in the previous game and maybe also during the talks. What is it that we have been winning 7 games and has been great? Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be very negative about that. But
yeah,
you have seen in those games as well that we cannot maintain our form. You see that we switch off during the game for a few minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And today, the second half, where were we? What happened in
yeah.
that dressing room?
I think it's first of all, I think it's mentality. Mentality. I think we can't keep up the pace and the tempo just like the first half. I don't know. It must be the concentration and mentality. There's no other way to explain this. I mean, and Feyenoord, of course, they made a few changes. Slot, excellent coach. We knew he would make some changes, but I didn't expect us to be that bad in the second half. I mean, maybe we played a bit better the last few minutes, but then it was all or nothing. So it could have been 4-2 as well for them. But it was terrible. The first half, I was really happy about two players. I mean, Alvarez, his grit, the poison, the mentality. Oh man, I was really in love in the way with the way he played. And Berghuis, his passing, his crosses, unbelievable. I mean, he had an assist and a pre-assist with those two goals. But in the second half, I mean, I don't know what went wrong. We lacked concentration again. It was really unbelievable. Positions were not being taken over by other players. You saw Alvarez with the second goal of Feyenoord going to the side to defend. I think it was Jan Baksh. He wanted to defend Jan Baksh. Nobody took over his role. You could see Simonski totally free, shooting the ball without nobody was near him, and that was that illustrates basically the second half. It was really bad, and continuously losing the ball in the second half. Uh, it was just not good enough. Just
Yeah,
not good enough.
I felt also in the second half. Of course, we didn't play well, but also if you look at the football, Feyenoord was finding, other players quicker and easier than we were.
Their,
We were
their,
struggling a little bit,
yeah,
and I don't understand how that's possible, to be
yeah.
honest.
Their positional football was way better in the second half than ours. They weren't even playing that high pressing. They were just playing our type of football basically. Like, they could always find another player to pass the ball to, and we continuously losing the ball, and which suited their play basically. And I can't explain this. This is really terrible. But if you look at the players one by one, I mean, I think I gave the certain players the lowest grades, and those were the defenders. I mean, if you compare the quality of our defense in comparison with our midfield and attack, such a huge gap. I mean, Sanchez, terrible. Bessie, terrible. Vandal, terrible. And Timber was a bit okay, but he didn't have his best game. But our defense was a joke. And if you compare that with our midfield, with Alvarez back then in the first half, and with Berghuis, Kudus playing okay, huge difference. And that's basically the difference between between the quality that we currently have. We just don't have quality. The liability at the back is just too high.
So okay, so you're saying now first we were like looking at Schroeder, in the earlier this season, and saying he's not doing the utmost. This team is better than what he's showing.
Yeah,
Now we have seen Heitinga um, playing a couple of games in the
yeah,
eredivisie, and also we played against Union Berlin, and we also played in the KNVB Cup. In general, now you can have a little bit better understanding of where we are. Is
yeah.
this team? Is this team? Because I was watching the game, somebody asked me, "What's up with Ajax? Can they do better? Are we getting the most out of this place? Is this what it is? Are there gaps in the teams in terms of qualities, in your opinion?"
Yeah. I just explained that the defense is just not the quality that we seek. Of course, you can think about Bessie. Yeah, he can develop, etc., etc. But we should not forget he cost us 20 million plus. So you expect a player that's already top notch, at least. Now we got a player that needs to develop. That's the other way around. Vandal, I'm still not convinced of his quality as a left back. His best left back, best left side of Europe. And yeah, Sanchez is a joke. I mean, I'm not fond of Wrench, but Sanchez is like a level worse than him.
Yeah, but if we're honest, because you're looking a lot on the defensive side, but if we look at the midfield and the offensive side as well, who did well actually? I saw you gave a high grade to Berghuis, but honestly, I don't even agree with that. He had a couple of great passes, but
I think
off the ball, he doesn't contribute a lot.
I think he did a bit less, of course, in the second half. But I mean, the whole team was poor.
Yeah.
But in general, I think he played a decent game. He defended. He defended well, and we should take into account that the changes that Hadiga did in second half by putting Alvarez as a center back and then Taylor in midfield is also a risk, which means that Berghuis needs to do way more because Taylor is not Alvarez. If you
True.
compare that with stability and defense in midfield, so
Yeah.
of course you can see certain gaps between first half and the second half, but there is a huge gap in quality if you compare it with defense and midfield or defense and attack, and that's worrisome. There's
Okay.
not one line of quality throughout the whole squad.
Yeah. Look, I'm not gonna. I just want to highlight Bessie just quickly. I'm not gonna throw everything on him. Don't get me wrong, because a lot of players didn't perform
Oh,
today.
yeah.
But just one thing that I didn't understand. Maybe you have a different opinion on this. The first 10 minutes, you said we played bad. I think honestly, in those 10 minutes, he played five passes to a Feyenoord player,
Yeah, yeah,
or
he was.
he got intercepted in the build-up. And I know
Yeah,
he's being pressed, but it happened over and over and over again to a way in an extent that his self-confidence just went away throughout the
y-
first half. And in the
yeah,
second half, even Heitinga, I think I understand what Heitinga was doing. He was like, if I take him out now, it's even worse. So
yeah.
he put him on the left side. Do you agree with that? That he put Edson, he made a couple of changes and kept Bessie on the left side? Or would you be more like, because I was also discussing this, wouldn't you just put Hato in? Or is it,
Yeah.
I mean,
I would
people say it's too early, but
no.
can he do worse, honestly?
I would 100% put Hato in. 100%, without a doubt. Bessie was so poor, not only in the build-up, but also defensively. He was a liability. And the change that he made by putting him on the left side was to take a little bit of that risk, because in the center you're more risky to put him out there. But even I would have put him on the bench and put in Hato 100%. I mean,
Okay.
it's a 1+1.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Sahbi, it's hard, man. This is hard.
Yeah,
I want to ask you two more questions. I know this is taking longer than usual, but
no, but it's okay.
um, yeah. So look, we lost the game, but we could have won the game. Let's be honest. That Kudus
Yeah,
chance at the end. I thought honestly he missed it, but the goalkeeper had a save. I saw it in
bro,
the replay.
bro,
So yeah,
you should have
well,
seen me. I mean, when I saw that Kudus shot, because we're talking about that Kudus shot, right?
yeah, at the end.
Seriously, I'm not lying. I already counted that as a goal. And when I saw that he missed it because of that reflex of the keeper, I screamed so loud, cursing so hard because of disbelief. I just could not believe that ball didn't get in, and
Yeah,
that should have been the 3 points.
yeah.
It's
All right.
it's over now. It's over now. I mean,
Yeah, it could have been honestly. It could have been 3-2. We could have won that game.
we could have won that game.
Like 2-3 minutes later, they get a corner. They scored a
Yeah,
3-2.
and I have to say, yeah, we didn't deserve the win, but we also didn't deserve the loss. I mean, a draw would have been a fair result if you look at the game. First half Ajax, second half Feyenoord. But it was yeah, wasteful, really wasteful. And now we can just forget about the league title. We can be honest about it. Theoretically, we can still make it, but we need to be realistic. It's over. We need to focus now on maintaining the second spot, because AZ will play against Twente. If they win, they regain their second spot, and then we have to fight against them instead fighting against Feyenoord. And let's not forget even PSV. So yeah, it can be a terrible season in the end.